What are the traits of a good mediator? Those skills you find in a mediator, what are those things? They are numerous. There are many of them. I want to share some of them with you. What are those things that qualify a mediator to be a good mediator? Aside the trainings and the certifications to become a mediator, there are other things that can qualify someone to become a good mediator. For me, I call it having a heart of a mediator. To cultivate a mediator's heart, a mediator needs to develop empathy, active listening. A mediator must be patient. A mediator must be non-judgmental. He or she has to approach conflict situation with calmness, neutrality, and that helps in fostering trust and encouraging open communication. And it helps the mediator to understand all perspective, common ground, facilitating mutually agreeable solutions. I want to deviate a bit. Do you know that in the military, they have been the officers there, they have been trained to be aggressive? You can be a good person, you have a very good heart, and you join the military. Do you know that you have to obey your superior, your commandant? They take you to a place, train you, make sure you undergo hardship as a military personnel. And when your commander says shoot, you shoot. When he says stop, you stop. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's nothing like no, sir. When you say no to the superior in the military, it's like you've disobeyed the order and you will be court-martialed. So you can see the aggressiveness of the military men, especially an officer that is in the battlefront. You're facing the enemy, shooting, firing the arms. So he or she is being trained to be aggressive in nature. They don't motivate you with soft words. Everything will be fine. No, they motivate you to be aggressive as a military personnel. Let me deviate a bit. I watched a movie. I watched it in the French language. The movie is an American movie, but I don't know if there should be an English version of it. But I watched it in the French version. In the French version, the name is Les Frères des Armes, meaning the brothers in armed conflict. They were hardened criminals. Hardened criminals. They committed all kind of crimes, and they were in the prison. So there happened to be an officer, because they were in the military prison rather. So there happened to be a very superior military officer that one of the government officials, the daughter was inviting in, trying to carry out a philanthropy services to people who have been deprived of war crimes, a lot of war. So she went there to deliver aid, medical aid, and she was kidnapped by the militant. So in the movie, the big men came to meet the officers in the military prison. Please go for this mission, go and rescue my daughter. And the military officer chose those hardened criminals. One thing that struck me in the movie was why he was choosing them. The most core criminals who have killed, who have dealt with guns, killing people, stealing, doing a lot of all kind of criminal acts, dangerous criminal acts. So when he chose them, and they were chained in the military plane, so they were taking them to Vietnam to go and rescue the lady from the militant who had kidnapped the lady. So, one thing that struck me, what the military officer said to those hardened criminals that were already convicted, that were already in the prison: I didn't choose you because of your good moralities. I didn't choose you because you have good character. I choose you because you are done all kind of criminal acts. So when they were in the US, killing people with guns, they never knew that there is a gun beyond just shooting someone and running away. That's when you're going to the battlefront to face an enemy. They are firing you arms, like defend yourself and rescue someone. So they behave so badly that they have to choose them to go for that mission. In summary, they went there. They never knew themselves. They became brothers by arms. They could see the reality of being in the battlefront, firing the arm to save someone's life, and some of them lost their life. And they realized a big lesson that it's beyond. They could see what the military faced in the battlefront when they were engaged in that. So the most important thing is that they were being motivated aggressively when they were giving them trainings. So in a nutshell, to have a heart of a mediator, to be a good mediator, you must have empathy. A mediator really needs to understand the emotional impact of the conflict on all the parties involved. This requires listening deeply, acknowledging their feelings in the mediation process, their concerns, their need. And being empathic doesn't mean that the party's emotions have to control you as a mediator. No. Sometimes the mediation becomes so silent, becomes so calm in the process. As a mediator, when you come to the mediation place, you drop your own troubles. You put your own troubles away, because you're trying to resolve conflict between two parties in front of you. So you can't bring your own trouble also to complicate the process again. So a good trait of a mediator must be active in listening. Go beyond, it goes beyond simply hearing words. You focus in understanding the underlying messages, the emotions expressed while in the mediation. You practice paraphrasing, summarizing to ensure comprehensive understanding, and you building trust by paraphrasing what the party have said. It goes beyond. There must be eye contact because you're listening actively. That's why when you listen actively, you can remember what is being said in every mediation process you ever attended to. Those words doesn't come to you and fly away. They comes and you retain them within you because you trying to understand the parties. Do you know that active listening have made some parties like they never resolve, but they come back to the mediator because of the empathy you've shown them, because you've listened to them actively. Parties come back to tell you, we didn't resolve, but thank you, mediator. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for paying attention to us. We can still resolve some other time. We can figure it out in another way. But I was happy. I'm happy. I used mediation. I participated in the process. Yes, parties have done that. When I was an intern in the mediation center, we've had parties that they didn't resolve, but they come back and the feedback form, they thank the mediator, thank the organization very well. Thank you for this place. You made me spoke my mind. You heard me clearly. We know we didn't resolve, but you listened to us. A mediator must show patience, must be patient in the mediation process. As a good trait of a mediator, you must be patient with parties. Sometimes you have, for people that have given birth to kids, you understand what they call patience. When you have toddlers, babies, they can't help themselves. You help them in everything. Patience require a mother to be tolerant with the baby. You just change your baby pampers, the baby poo or pee, and you just change it. In process of cleaning it, the baby poo on you again. Are you going to be the child? Are you going to spark the toddler? No. That call for patience, because the toddler, the child, can't help him or herself. So the mother is patient to clean again, to clean the child again. That's what mediation is. The parties comes with tense emotions in the mediation process. They come with anger. They come with different feelings. So a mediator must be patient. You must approach the mediation process with calmness. The way you start the mediation, your tone, your voice tone, your reactions can also help in facilitating mediation process in a positive way. Conflict resolution is often lengthened. Sometimes it's emotional. It's emotional charged process. You have to maintain composure and allow disputing parties to express themselves fully. Even when there's frustration, even when anger arises, you have to learn the way to calm them down, to calm yourself, not to be consumed by their emotions. You have to learn to manage their frustration, their anger. So a good mediator, a good trait of mediator is patience and calmness. They can shout at you. Another good trait of a mediator is you have to be non-judgmental. You must approach the mediation process in a non-judgmental way. You're not there to side anybody. You avoid taking side or expressing personal opinions. You have to create a safe place where all parties feel heard and are respected regardless of their position in the conflict. In the mediation process, you can find the richer party, the wealthy party, the more influential party, who is more influential than party A, party B. You don't look at their positions. How do you have the heart of a mediator? You don't judge, you don't take side. Take a look at the conflict happening all over the world. The trade war between US and China, the war between Israel and the Hamas in Gaza, Ukraine, Russia, Congo and the M23, somewhere there. Name all the conflict going on around the world, in every part of the world. Name them. As a mediator, have you tried to figure out why are they in conflict? You're not trying to be religious here or trying to be emotional, trying to be cultural, having the cultural bias. How do you have the heart of a mediator when you are called to mediate such conflict? International conflict, war conflict. You read about their interests, not their positions. Why are they you're not siding anybody? That's how you build the heart of a mediator. Why are they fighting? Have you tried to make comprehensive research? What is this? What is the interest of the hammer? What is the interest of the military, of the Israelite military? What are they fighting about? What are the interests? What is their core interest? You're not trying to see who is superior, who is wrong, who is right as a mediator. What is the interest? Why these people are fighting? That's when you have the heart of a mediator. When you read about conflict, listen to news about conflict as a mediator happening all around the world. You don't say, oh, it's a religious. No, it's a religious conflict. To hell with them. No. What is the main purpose why this particular group is agitating for this? You don't judge anybody in the conflict process. You try to understand them. A good trait of a mediator must be neutral. You have to present calmness. You must be approachable as a mediator, and you must be trustworthy. This encourages parties to share information openly and honestly, fostering trust and collaboration. Remember, your reactions in the mediation process as a mediator can show parties if you're biased or not. So you must be conscious of yourself. I know you can be able to read all your body language, why you do things, why you speak to parties, why you listen to them. They see your body language. But you as a mediator must be self-conscious, self-aware about your own self also. A good trait of a mediator, you must have the facilitative skill. You're there to facilitate the process. You're not there to control the process. You're not there to control the outcome. You're there to guide the conversation towards understanding and agreement. You're here to help parties to identify common grounds, explore alternatives, reach a mutually beneficial resolution. So you're there to facilitate mediation process, because as a mediator, you're a neutral third party who is there to assist parties, to help them facilitate communication. The outcome of the dispute, the resolution, belongs to the party. They decide. But you're there to guide them, because they are two warring party, two angry party who cannot directly speak to themselves. You're there to separate the fight. You're there to guide them, discuss. You're hot. You have an issue. So discuss. You must respect the party. You must be fair. Treat all parties with respect and fairness. Ensure that everyone have an equal opportunity to voice their perspective and contribute to the resolution process. Yes, that's why in the opening speech of a mediator, before the mediation starts properly, you set ground rules for the mediation. Parties speak one at a time. You don't interrupt the other party. You give them equal time to speak. Whatever that is, when even the party is lying, you calm down. Then let party A, party B calm down. Let the party A finish, or let the party B finish first. You don't interrupt the other party. You establish that. Guide the rules, guide the process, facilitate the process. You seek common ground. You focus on shared interests and goal. Identify areas where the parties find common ground. You build a mutual beneficial outcome. You build it. You guide the process. So a trait of a good mediator are numerous. You don't really obtain this by certification. You obtain this by conscious building yourself, conscious approach, continuous learning. You stay committed to technicalities and conflict, seek trainings, develop, attend webinars, enhance your skill, knowledge, read. Because every profession have the rules to follow. Like I gave you example of the military training. Whether you are a good person by nature, by standard as an individual, but when you are in the military, you're going for the battle. You're being motivated aggressively. You're being subjected to hardship. So when you remember the subjection, when you remember the hardship in the training process, it triggers your adrenaline to fire the arms at the enemy, shoot, and you obey your superior in the military. So as a mediator who has come to help party in dispute, you might, like me, I love conversation, but becoming passionate about mediation, I discovered that I have to learn the skill of more of listening. In the mediation, you're not doing the talking. You're doing more of listening. Parties are there. Party do the more of the talking. You're there to paraphrase, summarize what they've said, ask questions to understand what they're saying. So I have to build more skill of listening. I know I love conversation. Maybe you are a you study mass communication, you're a journalist. Because you're a journalist, you have to talk, especially if you're a reporter. But when you when you come to the profession of a mediator from the background of a journalist, you learn to drop your talking somewhere. You learn to become more of a listener. You build a skill. So in a nutshell, what are the good traits of a mediator? You must be a good active listener. You have non-judgmental mind. You must be open-minded. You will have the ability to stay calm, start the mediation with calmness. You are able to maintain confidentiality as a mediator. That helps the party to trust you. You must be honest, you must be trustworthy. You must have ethical values as a mediator. You must be humble as a mediator. You must have patience. You must be alert. You must be credible. You have to be respectful to the parties. So, traits of a good mediator are numerous. While you have all these traits, also remember to have the mediation principles to guide you in the mediation process. One of them is the confidentiality process. You must be confidential. Those principles of mediation should be your watchword. Should be your watchword. Just like in the hospital, to doctors, they tell you not to be emotional. They train you to maintain your professional goal. So you must carry out your professional duty. Being a mediator doesn't stop you from having your own trouble. It doesn't stop you from having conflict. That's what most people don't know. But at that moment, you drop your own conflict. Put it aside, because you're trying to resolve another conflict in front of you as a mediator. So you drop your own conflict aside and face this one. One beautiful thing that the mediation has helped me a lot is when I was actively as an intern, I was mediating when I was given the opportunity to mediate, participate, observe the mediation process. From morning, unless you go on a break, till evening, you having one file or the other, conflict of all kind, listening to conflict. Sometimes when I get home, when I was an intern, I don't even remember. I just feel like, oh my God, I don't even have conflicts. The ones I've heard today are bigger than mine. When you get home, you just want to have shower, eat fruit, drink water, and sleep because you've heard a lot. Do you start worrying your own? You start being worried about your own conflict again? Those conflicts sometimes, after hearing them, whatever that is even troubling you, you start healing as a mediator because every day you're hearing about conflict. You're resolving, you're hearing people fighting in front of you every day. So the most important thing is having the mediation principles as your watchword while you mediate and cultivate those good qualities of a mediator. We are humans, we have emotions, but you have to learn to control them as a mediator. And that will help you have a very good mediation process. And that will also help the parties to speak up and have a good mediation.